You are welcome to yet another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. We all know that around the 10th of April next month, the New York appeal process will be kicking off with opening briefs. This was initially scheduled for 8th of last month, but was later postponed for various reasons. What makes this appeal in particular very important is the fact that it offers Robert another great shot at having his freedom reinstated after 4 years of wrongful incarceration. If his legal team led by experienced appellate attorney Jennifer Bonjean is able to prove beyond reasonable doubt that the Bureau of Prisons officers actually did leak R. Kelly's restricted communications while at the MCC to an internet blogger, this alone is perfect grounds for an immediate acquittal. We are aware that an FBI investigation was carried out to establish whether the BOP actually did share this information with Tasha K., and that the findings were mind-boggling, the reason they were not made public by the Bureau. Instead, they preferred to remain silent and send off the ringleader of this departmental mischief on a forced early retirement, like another civil servant who had done her job right and only too old to continue serving. Weird still, this officer who was retried had not been working in the Chicago MCC jurisdiction, but surprisingly managed to access such restricted inmate records, scanned his emails to her personal computer and shared them with Tasha K., who then relayed the same to the public. This definitely compromised his case, and the issue deserves to be looked into with utmost urgency. Because the FBI is a very airtight institution that will not be easily corrupted to publish falsehoods, the Bureau of Prisons is stuck with a report that incriminates its own officials, and that could cause serious concerns with the way the institution carries out its operations. The reason they are holding on to this investigation report and denying the public their primary right of knowing the contents of this FBI document. This report is the only missing link to see the entire New York verdict overturned and R. Kelly's freedom reinstated, and because they know this very well, they will try and hold on to this information for as long as possible. This protective move by the BOP has exposed the entire department, showing their lack of will to do their job right and facilitate justice in this country. It is believed that the Department of Prisons has been operating in this rather dubious manner for a very long time, and has manipulated many trials like this, denying citizens their basic right to a fair trial. I find this very shaming for a government institution as respectable as this, to be involved in such cheap and petty schemes of the sort to the extent that they will put aside their obligation to serve this country, and instead join in on individual witch hunts of this nature. It's very embarrassing. It's still a puzzle as to whether Jennifer Bonjean is able to use legal channels to force the BOP to release this report, or to get the FBI to share it with R. Kelly's legal team, considering it concerns him being the inmate whose rights were violated by this event. But perhaps this will be possible when the matter is presented in the appeal court. We wait to see what happens. It's important to note that while the prison officials may be allowed to listen in on calls taken by inmates, the law does not allow that they share these records with the general public, even if they have been warranted by the court to retrieve this information to be used in a court process. Sharing this information with the public is just not acceptable, and worse still with a YouTube blogger influential in the media like Tasha K. That was so wrong and punishable by law. It is therefore imperative that the FBI report be made public, such that we confirm what really happened and the culprits are brought to book. We don't want to sue the FBI. It would therefore be helpful if they came out to iron these differences and make peace between the BOP and the general public. According to Mindy Stein. Indeed, what the prisons officer did was against the laws of our country and deserves to be looked into. By the time an FBI inquiry be carried out, there must have been probably cause, and it must have been deemed against the law to perform these acts. When the Bureau decides to hold on to the findings of the FBI, it raises even more eyebrows and means they know well it's against the law what they did. It's therefore no longer a question of whether this act of sharing an inmate's personal call records made to his attorney with a freelance news blogger is illegal or not, but whether it happened at all. With a confession from Tasha K., though, there is no doubt that this happened. However, in her confession video, the least Tasha K. could have done was name the main BOP officer involved, which she didn't do. Otherwise it makes no sense to confess to a crime, yet still cover up for the perpetrators, who in this case are the officers involved. According to Tasha K's confession, the reason the Bureau could have chosen to remain silent about this matter is that addressing it would likely destroy the entire department, or simply cause the public to lose confidence in the prison system, considering it wasn't one officer, two officers or three, but tens of officers who had made it their job to get into R Kelly's call records and share whatever they could with Tasha K. And all Tasha K said in her defense was that she wasn't paying for this information or soliciting it in any way. Meaning the people who were paying for this could have been the government, considering they were the immediate beneficiaries. According to Ray Johnson, it's not strange that Tasha K did this, considering she already confessed that her dad worked in the prison system. She therefore knows people there, and it's highly probable that the only person she knew was from another jurisdiction. She must have asked this contact, who was in the Minnesota jurisdiction, to get her this data so that she could shine on her YouTube channel, which is soliciting. This is why we need a full and proper investigation, and Tasha K will likely